Wuhan New Year's balloon release causes explosion at high-voltage line. China's central bank drops a financial bombshell. Citizens' wallets are hanging. China's leather capital struggles. Fewer OEM orders, shortage of young workers. Forcing employees to resign. Xi'an company relocates from CBD to Qinling mountain area. 9 senior CCP leaders face punishment. Tip of the iceberg with more explosive revelations. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Wuhan New Year's balloon release causes explosion at high-voltage line. On January 1st, during the New Year's Eve celebration, thousands of residents in Wuhan, Hubei, gathered at Jianghan Road. When the clock struck midnight, people released their balloons, filling the sky. Suddenly, a few balloons hit the overhead high-voltage wires, triggering huge explosions and fireballs, causing alarm among the people. Moreover, a sudden power outage occurred in several stores. Explosions happened repeatedly, leading to screams and cries, and stirring unrest among the crowd. An eyewitness recalled that some people were so scared they cried. According to these videos, following the balloon explosion, chaos ensued in the crowd, resulting in incidents of pushing and stepping on feet. A girl's face was so compressed it became distorted, and she let out a scream of agony. Another eyewitness said that it took more than an hour to get out of there. Luckily, no stampede occurred. Security personnel later confiscated all remaining balloons. The Wuhan New Year balloon explosion videos have become a sensation on the internet, sparking comments from netizens. How come cities all over the country are releasing balloons this year? Some said that, am I seeing things incorrectly? Are they releasing hydrogen balloons underneath high-voltage power lines? I've seen it myself. The harm from these exploding balloons can cut fingers in half in an instant. Others commented, in a crowd this packed, if someone catches fire, it could result in both burning fatalities and a stampede, endangering many lives. China's central bank drops a financial bombshell. Citizens' wallets are hanging. The People's Bank of China, the country's central bank, made a major announcement today, approving the change of Alipay, China network technology company, Limited's status to having no actual controlling party. This confirms Jack Ma's earlier statement that Alipay is ready to be handed over to the state at any time. Alipay's operations in China encompass a range of services including payments, wealth management, insurance, and lending, with its user base exceeding 1 billion. Consequently, the central bank's announcement has garnered widespread attention. Particularly in areas outside of China where the CCP doesn't control speech, there is a general consensus that this indicates Alipay is being taken over by the state. Financial commentator Gu Chuanxiu, in an interview with Sound of Hope, remarked that the Chinese Communist Party has consistently prioritized financial stability, aiming to have state-owned capital dominate and oversee the financial sector, ostensibly for national security reasons. The shift in Alipay to having no actual controller is a crucial move towards the CCP's total control of the financial sector. Alipay, founded in 2004 and fully owned by Ant Technology Group, serves 80 million merchants and 1 billion consumers worldwide. The CCP is restless as long as Alipay's control is with private individuals or companies. These 80 million merchants and 1 billion consumers wield considerable financial and economic power, and they fall outside the CCP sphere of influence. Such a scenario is unacceptable for the Xi-led government, which is veering significantly to the left. A report from China Times News suggests that analysts believe with this change, Alipay's parent company, Ant Group, and major shareholders like Hang Seng Electronics and Cathay Property Insurance, will no longer be under the control of Jack Ma. It's now viewed that both Alipay and Ant Financial Services belong to everyone. As for who this everyone refers to, it's obvious, even if unsaid. Those without shares in Alipay naturally have no say, but even shareholders won't have control, as decisions will be made by government financial authorities. In 2020, the CCP halted the overseas listing of Jack Ma's Ant Group, followed by a series of regulatory clampdowns on the company. In a February 2021 interview with the Epoch Times, Xi'an, a professor at the University of South Carolina, expressed that the targeting of Jack Ma marks the CCP's intensified efforts to appropriate private businesses. To the CCP, whether they are small like ants or large like elephants, Chinese private enterprises are negligible and, at best, like ripe leeks ready for harvesting. The CCP operates under the belief that everything under the sky is theirs to command and take. Xi'an anticipates that the future will mirror the 1957 transformation of capitalist industry and commerce. The CCP will systematically dismantle private capitalists. You either consent to a joint public-private partnership, surrender your assets, or face dire consequences like suicide or accidental death. Regardless, you're expected to vanish from the historical scene, leaving the CCP to seize the golden eggs and the golden hen. This is already unfolding. Since 2021, China has been through lockdowns and reopenings, pushing its economy to the edge of collapse. The CCP is reverting to its early regime tactics of wealth seizure. As previously reported, at the end of October 2023, Evan Osnos, a former China correspondent for The New Yorker, reported that the CCP is targeting tycoons with assets over 30 million yuan, demanding they relinquish 20% of their wealth or face tax probes. Early November, Wang Huntao, chair of the National Committee of the China Democracy Party, revealed to the Epoch Times that Xi Jinping, the CCP leader, is demanding affluent families forfeit a part of their wealth. With Alipay's status changed to having no actual controller, finance commentator Qinling suggests this is a pivotal move, likely leading to the nationalization of Alipay in the future. This move could erode international investors' confidence in China, deterring them from investing and, in fact, leading to their withdrawal from the Chinese market. Virtual wallets are becoming increasingly popular in China. This trend indicates a shift away from traditional bank deposits to platforms like Alipay. In this scenario, if the CCP nationalizes Alipay, it could gain further control over citizens' finances. Should a debt crisis spark a banking crisis, not only could people's bank deposits be at risk, but also their funds in Alipay might no longer belong to them. China's leather capital struggles, fewer OEM orders, shortage of young workers. In Xinji, Hebei province, renowned as the leather capital of China with a leather-making legacy spanning 3,000 years, the industry confronts a series of challenges. Issues like the shift of OEM orders to Southeast Asia and a dwindling workforce pose significant hurdles. Because leather production is seasonal, in the past, the leather industry produced and sold products in the second half of the year, and there were no orders in the first half of the year. Therefore, some companies choose to accept clothing OEM orders from other brands. But now, the OEM orders of some international brands have been transferred from China to Southeast Asian countries. According to reports, this is related to the pandemic and rising wages of workers. Before the pandemic, Haruko, a machinist in a major international OEM factory, witnessed wages soar from 200 yuan, approximately $28.09 in 2007 to 2,000 yuan, about $280.86 in 2017. With yearly wage increases, the brand eventually abandoned OEM production in China, opting for Southeast Asian countries. Beyond order challenges, the leather industry grapples with a shortage of manpower. Shifts in attitudes among young people, who prefer delivering food over factory work, contribute to this issue. The majority of tannery factory employees are now over 40 years old, and many places have seen a halving of factory workers. Formerly reliant on migrant workers from places like Hunan, Anhui, Sichuan, and even Guangdong, factories now predominantly employ locals. In addition, Lu Media said in November 2023 that the once prosperous Xinji leather industry is facing many difficulties, such as market competition, increasing environmental pressure, weak product innovation, reduced foreign trade orders, and declining export profits. Forcing employees to resign? Xi'an company relocates from CBD to Qinling mountain area. A company in Xi'an caused controversy when it suddenly relocated its office from the Xi'an Central Business District, CBD, to the Qinling Mountains. More than a dozen employees were forced to resign due to the inconvenient commute and living conditions at the new location. However, shortly after these resignations, the company moved its office back to the city. Mr. Chang, a former employee, posted a video complaint alleging that the company's move to the mountains was a deliberate strategy to prevent compensating employees during layoffs. The company informed employees of the relocation to a remote mountain location where there would be no commuting subsidies. To reach the new location, colleagues could only take a bus that ran every 3 hours, and they had to walk 3 kilometers on the mountain village road after getting off the bus. Otherwise, it would cost 50 or 60 yuan to take a taxi from the nearest station. Faced with these challenges, 14 employees, including Mr. Chang, voluntarily resigned. However, just 4 days after their departure, the company relocated its office back to the city, leading everyone to be very angry when they learned the news. They also suspected that the initial move was intended to make employees resign voluntarily rather than being compensated for layoffs. On December 31st, the person in charge of the company involved, Mr. Zhang, admitted the incident. He said that the main reason was that the company was experiencing operational difficulties and the office rent in the CBD was very expensive, so the company decided to move. The temporary relocation of the office location was just a temporary transition for a week. The company also hoped that everyone could share weal and woe at this time. Unexpectedly, many people proposed to resign and posted the matter online. However, Mr. Chang denied the company's statement, saying that they were informed at the time that the office relocation to the mountains might be extended and could last until next year. Mr. Chang also revealed that the new office was situated in a farmer's house, making work inconvenient. There were no nearby facilities, and employees had to eat instant noodles and bread. The commute was dangerous due to the lack of streetlights, and female employees faced the threat of wild dogs. Following their resignations, Mr. Chang and his colleagues filed arbitration applications with the local labor arbitration department, aiming to raise awareness of such practices and protect other workers from similar situations. This incident aroused heated discussion among mainland netizens. Some netizens said, this kind of resignation requires negotiation for compensation. The company in the article just wants to save compensation. The boss is so good at saving. At present, there is no mercy at all. Some netizens also said, no one should complain. The general environment is like this. I can only say that the company is really poor and it is a last resort. The market has forced people to do what they need in the past few years. 9 senior CCP leaders face punishment. Tip of the iceberg with more explosive revelations. Recently, at least 9 high-ranking generals in the Chinese Communist Party's military were stripped of their roles as delegates to the National People's Congress due to their involvement in corruption cases. However, Hong Kong media has highlighted that this is merely the tip of the iceberg. The scandal reportedly involves at least 7 generals and more than 30 officers of major general rank or higher, not to mention an even larger number of division-level officers. In more detail, in a report today, January 1st, Hong Kong's Singtao Daily described these dismissals as unprecedented and shocking. The report emphasized that these cases came to light primarily because those involved were also delegates in the CCP's National People's Congress. The report detailed that the corruption scandal within the rocket force implicated at least 7 generals. These include former Air Force Commander Ding Liehang and 2 rocket force commanders, Liu Chao and Zhou Yining, all of whom have lost their positions as National People's Congress (NPC) delegates. Other high-ranking officials implicated are former Minister of Defense and former head of the Equipment Development Department of the Military Commission Li Shangfu, the first commander of the Rocket Force and former Minister of Defense Wei Fenghe, and Su Xiongbo, a member of the Central Committee and former political commissar of the Rocket Force. Though Su Zhongbo has been dismissed from his military role, he still holds his position as an NPC delegate, suggesting he may only be held accountable for leadership failings. Rumors also indicate that General Zhu Ganxing, commander of the CCP Strategic Support Force, is implicated in the scandal. Furthermore, earlier media reports have indicated that the Rocket Force corruption case involves over 70 individuals. According to Reuters, Xi Jinping has invested heavily for years in acquiring and developing advanced military equipment, with the goal of fully modernizing the CCP's military and turning it into a world-class military force by 2050. However, the recent downfall of several CCP generals and military equipment suppliers has been a significant setback to Xi's plans. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.